Greetings, beautiful earthlings. I know I look ghastly right now. This is not my angle. I was not planning to make a video, so I'm also sorry if the audio is really bad because I don't have a microphone. But I'm sitting here in my car, scrolling through my feed, and I saw a video on Instagram by Kathryn Briggs. If you guys did not know, she is the artist of the New Chapter Tarot. So for a lot of you that have been following me for years, you might remember I got started early on in my YouTube career as a tarot and oracle reviewer with the publishing house Liminal11. This went on for many, many years, and I never really talked about what happened between me and Liminal11 and why I no longer review for them. I'm just going to move this because that's a terrible angle. I never talked about really what happened and why I stopped reviewing for them because honestly I have no idea. But this video that I just stumbled on actually makes a lot of sense and makes me feel like maybe now I'm putting pieces together and I understand what's going on. So I'm going to pop this video in here.
My tarot deck publisher owes me thousands of dollars. You may have seen me reposting some of the other artists who this is happening to, because it's not just me, it's everyone who's published with the same publisher. Everyone's tarot deck is being affected. We haven't received royalties in over a year. And not just royalties, I can't even get a reply to an email from me or my agent. It's really sad. It's really frustrating. I put so much into this deck, and I know that all of the other creators put so much into their decks. It's sad. And while it's a lot of money for me, suing somebody, taking them to court, as a person in the US, hiring an English lawyer, it's just beyond my means. So this is kind of the only thing I can do is talk about the situation and say, unfortunately, don't buy my deck. I know it's out there. It's still for sale. I'm still really, really proud of it, but I'm not going to see any of that money. Yeah, sucks.
As you guys can see, this is Kathryn Briggs talking about how she has not been compensated for her work with the New Chapter Tarot with Liminal11 as a publishing house. Now, when I first started working with Liminal11, I say working very loosely because I was never paid, right? I don't know how many of you guys remember, but I used to do just tarot and oracle deck reviews just for the fun of it. And one day I did the Modern Witch review, and Liminal11 reached out to me and said, hey, this is really awesome. We like what you're doing. We'd like to send you our next tarot deck for free, and we just asked that you review it. And I was like, yeah, super awesome, great. And they didn't send me just one. They sent me two. They sent me the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. They sent me the White Numen Tarot. So I reviewed both of them. And this began some kind of relationship where they started sending me every tarot deck that they made. And I just was under the impression, this is what I do now. I review for Liminal11. And I found other YouTubers who also got put in the same situation of Liminal11 just sending them tarot decks, being like, hey, can you review this for us on your channel? And I don't know much about how that works, if there should have been some type of compensation or some type of management or some type of, I was just making YouTube videos in my room. I still am, to be honest. And I have done review videos for all of their tarot and oracle decks, every special edition, all the way from the Modern Witch up until the This Might Hurt Tarot. So you guys might notice I have a playlist on my channel called Liminal11. It is all of my unboxing videos and reviews. I am also featured on Liminal11's YouTube channel on their own review playlist. Some of you might know that when the Cosmic Slumber Tarot coloring book was released, I was not sent it. And I had initially been sent every new item that they came out with. Again, we didn't have a contract. We didn't have an agreement, right? Nothing really happened. They were just like, hey, can we send you something? And then they just kept sending me stuff. So everything to me was like a gift. Oh my God, how cool. They keep sending me things. This is awesome. They must really like what I'm doing. I remember opening the Modern Witch Journal with my mom. Like, I was so excited. I thought this was going to be so big for me. Like, as a YouTuber, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm working with a tarot publisher. Like, this is huge toward my channel and my goals, right? And when the Cosmic Slumber Tarot coloring book came out, I was not sent it. I was not told that it was coming out. I saw it in the bookstore, and I felt a little betrayed because there had been really good communication up until that point with this publisher. And initially, when I first started communications with them, there was someone who was speaking with me who was very, very, very caring, very loving, very good about communication. She would get right back to me all the time. She was absolutely incredible. She would answer all of my questions. She would help me. And even one of their like company creators used to talk to me a lot too. One of their like main heads that started the company, right? So I was used to being able to openly communicate with this publisher. And one day communication just stopped. Like, we were so I don't want to say tight, but we were, you know, openly communicating, and then one day it just stopped. And I asked kind of, you know, hey, what's going on? And someone reached out to me and said, sorry, the girl you've been communicating with no longer works here. And I was like, oh, okay, like, who are you? Are you the new person I'm going to be communicating with? Are you the new person that I'm corresponding with? And then that person no longer worked there really quickly. And the response I got from them at some point in time was, hey, email all questions and concerns to this email. Like, no response, no nothing. I tried reaching back out to the person who is in charge that I had initially been corresponding with, and he also began completely ignoring my correspondences. So I had no idea what happened or what I did, right? I thought I did something, because when the Cosmic Slumber coloring book came out, I bought it with my hard-earned money. I bought it from the bookstore. I went home and I did like a little video about it, and I wasn't too happy about the fact that I saw it in the bookstore and I wasn't sent it. And yeah, I also realized later on, maybe I'm being a little spoiled, right? They don't have to send me everything that they made. We had no contract, we had no agreement. But time went by, another tarot deck came out, right? And they were not responding to me in any sense. And so I made it a point to not purchase their decks, right? I was kind of on strike. I was a little mad about it. I was like, I think they came out with the Citadel Oracle by itself. I remember I was sent like the Seed and Sickle special edition, and I think that might have been the last one that they had sent me. And they came out with something after that, and I didn't buy it because I was like a little bitter, and I was like, you know, I'm not going to spend $100 on this thing just to review it for them if they're not talking to me. Then I see more of these Modern Witch products coming out, puzzles and whatnot, and I was like, I'm definitely not spending money on that, because one, that has nothing to do with tarot, and it feels like they're just squeezing Modern Witch for everything that it's worth, you know, because it was their biggest seller, still is, to the point that they're re-releasing that special edition, right, with limited copies. And I was a sucker and I bought one because I wanted it as like a memoriam piece for my time with Liminal11. And so when the This Might Hurt Tarot came out, I knew that one was going to be huge, because it was a Kickstarter and it did so well on Kickstarter. So many people loved the This Might Hurt Tarot. So I sucked it up. I said, you know, who cares about the beef? It's not they didn't have any contractual obligation to continue working with me. They must have just decided either one, they don't want reviewers anymore, or two, they don't want to go forward working with me. Maybe what I was doing on social media no longer aligned with them, right? I was a little betrayed that I didn't get a correspondence saying, hey, we're gonna stop sending you things, like, we didn't realize we sent you so many, we only meant to send you 2, or like, your social media presence no longer aligns with our statement, and we just feel it's best to, something respectful and professional at that. And I got absolutely nothing. And I even tried to update my address with them the way that I had done multiple times before when I had moved, because they kept sending me things and they would ask, like, hey, making sure this is still your address, when there was good correspondence. So I tried doing that, and of course, no response. So when the This Might Hurt Tarot came out, the special edition, I purchased that with my own hard-earned money, and I reviewed that one because I knew that one was going to be really big, really pivotal, and I felt that it honestly could have given the Modern Witch a run for its money, not particularly with the This Might Help Oracle, right? I don't really feel personally that their oracles are very good companions. The way that they started their Oracle series with the Seed and Sickle, I think, was a really hard start. Like, it was beautiful artwork, right? All of these artists that they've recruited are absolutely phenomenal, and that's the hard part about all of this. Now finding out that, they're not properly compensating their artists. But I feel like for me personally, as a reviewer that had just gotten dropped out of nowhere, I feel like I do kind of understand now the timeline of events where they might have had some kind of staff change or multiple staff changes to the point that someone just said, no more correspondence, no more whatever, we're taking charge. And the people who were in charge, who were running things, who were keeping this company human, all of a sudden no longer have a say, or no longer have sovereignty, or no longer have agency in their own company. Again, that's speculation. I have absolutely no idea. But to see Kathryn Briggs talking about how she hasn't been compensated, she hasn't been sent any royalties, as an American artist who was working with a UK company, I can see where those issues might arise, because, she's not in the UK. She can't just go pop over there and go visit the office and go talk to them. But for them to be freezing out not only her, but her agent, and then to hear that they have been doing this to every artist that they work with, considering they have quite a catalog now of books, coloring books, tarot and oracle decks, and now apparently puzzles and journals, right? One, I really hope that the artist of the Modern Witch is getting properly compensated, because they are squeezing the Modern Witch for everything it is worth. Two, I also hope that the artist of the This Might Hurt Tarot isn't struggling like this, because that's rough, because the This Might Hurt Tarot was way bigger than this production company entirely. And I was actually honestly very surprised that the artist agreed to sign on with this publisher, because the This Might Hurt Tarot was so much bigger than this company. Like, it seemed to me like the company really lucked out when it came to picking up the This Might Hurt Tarot. Like, that blew my mind. That absolutely blew my mind, because that should have been published through something a lot bigger, like Llewellyn's, or a different publisher that is a little bit more reputable, that's been around for a little bit longer. But I understand, times are hard, resources are tight, and finding a publisher who is so new, who is just starting out, who has these open calls saying, hey, if you made a tarot deck, send it to us and we'll publish it. Like, it's a very attractive offer. So what I wanted to say with this, and why I'm bringing attention to it, is because when I'm watching this Kathryn Briggs video about how she's not being sent her royalties, and they're not communicating any longer with her and her agent, there are a lot of people in the comments saying that they have heard this same cry for help from multiple artists who have worked with this publisher. And the hard part here is any kind of call to action, right? There's not much we can do as people. There's not much that the artists can even do at this point because the copyright is completely out of their hands. It has been published. They probably don't even own the rights to their own images anymore because of this. So for me personally, one, I want to ask any other artists who have worked with Liminal11 and Sterling Ethos if this is also their experience. Two, I want to ask any other YouTube reviewers who have worked with Liminal11 and Sterling Ethos if this is also their experience. And three, I want to know how we feel as consumers about what is going on, because Liminal11 is rapidly expanding, and it seems like once they realized they got a taste of the good life and they started expanding and they started moving on up, they got a little big for their britches. And I know I personally felt that as a reviewer, as a person who was, having this relationship with them, who did just get dropped. I just thought it was me. I just thought personally at some point my luck was going to run out with this company because of, my platform, because of the content that I post, because of my appearance, things like that. I always thought that I was on borrowed time working with Liminal11. But now hearing that they're not properly compensating their artists and not communicating with them and their agents, that also makes me feel like maybe it's not just a me problem. Maybe it is Liminal11 doing this. So the comment that I had posted on Kathryn Briggs's video, as far as reclaiming sovereignty and agency of something like a tarot deck, which is so far out of their hands now as artists, I know it's kind of dumb to suggest, but I feel like as the artist, they should still have the digital files of the images that they created, and in any sense they can make tiny little changes to each of those, because although they might not any longer hold the copyright to those images specifically, they can make slight changes to those images and retain it as their own personal creative works and republish it individually through some kind of, card making website. And I know that's easier said than done, because I have a tarot deck out through a card making website and it's super expensive. It's so dumb to do because I'm not making any money off these tarot decks. I'm just literally getting my art out there, getting my deck out there at a huge loss to me, to be honest. So I understand why doing something like rebranding this as the artist's version, especially when it comes to remaking the deck, remaking the book, remaking the box, and then selling it themselves, would be, a huge profit loss in the beginning to create and start. But as artists, if they do have their own platform, if they do have their own websites, they can put these up for pre-order, or, order a bunch in bulk and sell them at their own price and try to reclaim this type of agency over their own artwork and get some money back in their pockets. And I did also suggest putting it on something like Etsy or Depop or Kickstarter as a newer, artist's version. Spread the word. We can help spread the word as people, as supporters, to try to get the artists some kind of money back for their hard work, their time and their energy that they put into this deck that has now been essentially stripped from them. Especially considering I've been following the artists of all of these decks that I reviewed from Liminal11, because I watched the process as a reviewer. I felt very close to the process. I felt very close to their stories, and, even down to the books having spelling errors. Like, I tried to contact someone at Liminal11, like, hey, your books have spelling errors. Do you guys notice that? Like, do you guys not have an editor? I'm just some kid who went to college for writing and English composition, but if I notice these spelling and grammatical errors, do you think no one else is? Like, do you guys not have an editor? Do you guys, feel free to send it to me and I'll look it over. Like, you don't even have to pay me or put my name in the credits. Like, just for the integrity of the deck, of the artwork, of this being published by someone who is an indie creator who really looks up to this type of publisher to do their deck justice, and then you guys are so careless as to have spelling and grammatical errors in the book that you're publishing. You guys didn't even look that over. You just sent it. And the response I got from that was basically that, they write their own books and we try to keep it as close to what they sent us as possible so that, it's authentic to them. But having somebody look over spelling and grammatical errors doesn't change the content of the writing itself. And I feel like as a publishing house that has taken on the responsibility of taking the work of somebody, such as not only a deck but also a book, it is also your responsibility to treat that with respect and put out the best version of that you can to honor the person that you're working with. The person who is making your company money, your publishing house money. So I also saw in the comments that someone was saying they had almost got by Liminal11 as well, because Liminal11 had asked them to work with them, and before any contract was signed or anything, Liminal11 started making announcements about it. And this person was like, no, we're not working together. No, I didn't give you rights to anything. No. So, I don't know what's going on with Liminal11, but it's really heartbreaking to see, as someone who has spent many years of my own YouTube career following this publishing house very closely and trying to help them build their own image. They entirely, at the beginning of their journey, when they had 1 tarot deck, 2 tarot deck, 3 tarot decks on their site and nothing else, they entirely relied on, us YouTube reviewers that were making our content for free, that were catering our content to them and trying to push that. We're marketing our videos because it's our video, because we're making it, because we're reviewers and that's what we do. But they kind of just let that go. They were like, they're happy that we're sending them gifts and they're willing to not only make videos about it for free without compensation, but also market their own videos, right? Market their own videos and share their own content and share our content and things like that. And very early on in my time with Liminal11, I used to get comments from not only the Liminal11 page, but also one of their head person's personal pages as well, saying, thanks for the share, thanks for the comment, thank you so much for going out of your way to do this. And after a while, those stopped coming, right? So I noticed this decline in communication and branding and marketing and all of that quite a long time ago, and it seems like they took all of their budget and put it towards promotion of their products, because all of a sudden their videos got really good, their marketing videos, but every single post became marketing at that point as well. And not to shoot myself in the foot with every review I've ever made of theirs, but a lot of people that I know really did not like Liminal11 decks because of that damn cardstock. And I used to say it all the time, and I used to try to kind of dance around it and like make jokes about it, but that cardstock ain't it. And a lot of people, kept saying like, I'm choosing to buy the knockoff of this deck because of that cardstock. If they would just fix the cardstock, it would solve the issue. I even tried to talk to one of their head people a while back about creating a mini version of the Modern Witch, because I felt like a mini version with reduced thickness cardstock would really sell, and that could even help them so much with future marketing of really popular decks, right? Not to say make a mini version of every deck, but just the ones that they notice that sell really well, like the Modern Witch or the This Might Hurt, make a mini version of that and capitalize on it. So I never got anything back about any of that, right? Of course, they didn't want to hear anything I had to say because I was just some dumb YouTuber that was working for them for free. But if all of this is true, that Liminal11 is not compensating their artists. I have seen a lot of people in the comments of this video saying they are going to boycott the publisher itself. They're going to stop buying decks from them. They're going to stop recommending people buy from them. And I know that that's hard to do because Liminal11 is their UK name. A lot of people don't know that they publish under the name Sterling Ethos in America. So if you were buying the Modern Witch in the UK, I've shown this on my review videos as well. The publishing logo on the decks that come from the UK is the Liminal11 logo. But when you buy it from an American publisher partner, such as a bookstore or, you know, anybody working in conjunction with them, such as like Amazon, right? If you get it from the US, it will have the Sterling Ethos logo on it. So people who know, you know, things like the Modern Witch, the Cosmic Slumber, the White Numen, the New Chapter, and they're like, well, I'm not buying from Liminal11, and then they see that, oh, well, this doesn't say Liminal11, this says Sterling Ethos. I feel like they might still kind of fall for that and be like, maybe another publisher picked it up, right? They might not think anything of it. It doesn't say Liminal11. Maybe another publisher picked it up. Maybe they just took their work and sold it to another publisher, right? But Sterling Ethos is a partner of Liminal11. They do work together. That is their American partner. So if you guys want to go so far as to tell people to boycott Liminal11, I feel like you guys should also know that Sterling Ethos is part of their brand as well. However, the damage is done. It's very largely done because it's in bookstores. It's in bookstores. It's on Amazon. And a big part of what I was doing for a long time when it came to reviews was steering people away from knockoffs. Not a lot of people know it's because Liminal11 was telling me to stop the knockoff content. Fun fact, I never spoke about that either because I didn't want to ruin my relationship with Liminal11. I was so scared of losing this partnership that could have been so big for me, which is funny to think about now, that they were able to dictate my content when I was reviewing for them for free with no contractual agreement. But yeah, I had asked them how they felt about me, you know, buying the Modern Witch knockoff to compare to, because my Lightseers versus Lightseers knockoff video still to this day is my biggest, most popular, most viral video with the most views on my channel of anything ever. And you know, I said, hey, this was really big. This could be really big for both of us if you guys are okay with me, you know, purchasing the Modern Witch knockoff. Like, I won't do it without your permission because I understand that is also opening the door for people to go, oh, there's a smaller version, right? Because that is exactly what happened in that Lightseers video. And they said, probably don't do that. Probably don't do that because it's easier to just not draw attention to knockoffs, because the more attention you draw to knockoffs, the more people are just going to start buying knockoffs. Like, there is nothing you can say in the argument about not buying knockoffs which is going to cause people to listen to you and not buy knockoffs. They are inevitably just going to go, oh, there's a smaller version with smaller cardstock and it's cheaper, I'm going to go buy that version. And you're drawing attention to it by making a video like that and having that video go viral. So that is something that I really wanted to do and I really believed wholeheartedly would do very well. You know, we know that we can't do anything about the knockoff industry, but things like this, you're trying to keep me from talking about the knockoff industry to make sure that you're getting the profits on your deck, but you're not even compensating the artists who are working for you. You're not even keeping the lines of communication open for the people who have literally built your company from the ground up. Yeah, you had a bunch of people in an office and you were really proud about how your office changed and you guys got to move to a bigger office and you guys had staff changes and all of this. And that's really great and I'm really happy for you guys. But don't forget that 2 of the people who started your company also made a tarot deck for you. And you guys published a 2nd edition of that tarot deck. So are you not compensating that artist as well? One of the people who is a main creator of your actual company? Do we remember that the Luna Soul Tarot was created by the people who created Liminal11? Have we forgotten our roots already? Have we forgotten why we started this publishing house and this company, and we wanted to give indie creators a voice and a platform? Because not compensating artists is wild. And I don't know what contracts look like. I've never had one with them, but I just wanted to call attention to this the same way I want to call attention to knockoffs. And I wanted to call attention to knockoffs for the simple reason that people didn't even know that they were a thing. When I did all those videos about knockoffs, yeah, I kind of sent some people to go buy knockoffs. But I also opened a lot of people's eyes to knockoffs, because a lot of people were wondering, why doesn't my deck look right? Why is this deck smaller than the picture? Why does this not have a book? Why do I have a PDF download that doesn't work, right? And they go searching for that. Still, to this day, 5 years later, they go searching for that, and they see my video, and they're like, I got duped. I didn't know that. I knew that, fake Gucci bags were a thing. I knew that fake Coach bags were a thing. I knew that fake everything was a thing. But tarot decks, that's wild. Now we have, AI generated artwork and everything, and it's impossible to avoid fakes in any sense. But my point is, this is something that needs to be addressed. This is something that needs to be dealt with. This is something that needs to be handled. And I know that I'm a very small creator, and in my 5 years on YouTube, I've had one video get really big, right? It is what it is. I don't expect to be viral. I don't particularly want to be viral. But the thing is, I really hope that this video makes it to the artists, right? If they see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't. I really hope that the artists can work through this. I know there is one artist who is actually taking legal action against Liminal11, but a class action lawsuit is not currently on the table because it is hard to pursue, because it really is hard to get people together, because it does cost a lot of money. And you have to remember, these are independent artists that went to Liminal11 to publish their tarot decks because money and resources was an issue to begin with. And Liminal11 was a small publishing house that was just starting out that offered to do this for artists to publish their books, their coloring books, their spell books, their tarot decks, their oracle decks, because Liminal11 wanted to build their company off of the backs of people who were desperate enough to start working with them to begin with, because they were none the wiser of how these types of things even worked. People like me. So, I'm going to put a list in the description box of the current artists of Liminal11 decks. If you care, right, go follow them. I have been following them since I started doing all of this, because the artists are why I was doing all of this, right? Yeah, I was doing it to try to get my own foot in the door in the tarot community, as well as a YouTuber, as a reviewer. I admit that. And that's why I was so excited to work with a tarot publisher, right? And I was just as naive, but now I see it a lot differently, where I'm not a tarot reviewer anymore. You guys know I'm giving all my tarot and oracle decks away. I'm still a tarot reader. At the end of the day, I'm still a psychic. I'm still a witch. I'm still a medium. That is still who I am, regardless of what I do with my content, which is why I have drastically shifted my content since. But these artists who have put their heart and soul into these decks really do deserve not only the likes, the follows, the subscribes, the shares, the patronage. They deserve the support. If they have their own artwork, if they have their own stickers and merch, they deserve all the support they can get. If they are doing anything independently, please go follow them. I know some of them have YouTube channels where they do publish their own drawing videos or hauls or whatnot, and just please do everything that you can to support the artist, please, because at the end of the day, this is corporate world, right? I was going to say corporate America, but they're in the UK. But this is the corporate world. This is how it works. Somebody gets a little taste of, wow, this was too easy. we got really big really fast, and now we get to completely take over and take advantage and screw everybody over. So I hope to anybody who is watching this that was going to publish with Liminal11, you do your research first. You make sure to have a good manager or a good agent who's going to look over all of the paperwork and be with you through all of this. Not to say that Kathryn, Briggs, or any other artist didn't have a good agent or a good manager. It's entirely possible that they could have the best one and they still got screwed over, because what are you going to do when they don't contact you back, right? What are you going to do? Are you really going to go fly to the UK and bang on their door? You can, but that's still money out of your pocket that you probably didn't have to begin with. So please, please, please go support all of the artists of all of these decks. I really hope that nobody else gets screwed over. I really hope that someone is pursuing legal action against them, right? And I mean, I'm just trying to do my part, which is the smallest possible part that I can do, which is share this little bit of information that I have and my experience, and hope that it resonates. And I hope to get some attention on this, because wow, I'm super disappointed. I'm super appalled. I am really heartbroken, because in the midst of getting rid of all of my tarot and oracle decks, I still kept all of my Liminal11 decks. I still kept all of my Liminal11 decks. They are on top of my closet, and I have always had them like memorialized, and I never planned to get rid of any of them, because to me that was still a big part of the beginning of my YouTube career. Whether, you know, it meant anything to Liminal11 at this point, whether they even care, you know, that I put so much of my time into reviewing their products, and, you know, posting unboxing videos for them and making little TikToks to try to get attention to their products and things like that, and trying to find ways to innovate marketing for them, that I hoped one day they'd be like, hey, maybe you should work with our marketing team, right? Hey, maybe you should, hey, maybe we could work with you. Hey, maybe we could continue our relationship, something, right? I was always hoping, and it sucks too to think about how excited I was talking to my mom about this, right? Like when this first happened, thinking that this was going to be something like really big for me, that this was going to be a pivotal moment in my like YouTube career and my tarot reviewer career, right? And I can only imagine how it feels to create a tarot deck, right? And go through a publisher and not receive any of the royalties, and get frozen out of communications in the same manner, which is kind of the reason that I decided to independently publish my tarot deck. I also am currently working on an oracle deck, like I'm literally working on it right this second, and I see this video, and part of me also considered reaching out to Liminal11 about publishing a tarot book, because I have a beginner tarot book and an intermediate tarot book, both that I have been working on for quite some time, and I was going to go through them to publish it. And I'm really, really, really glad that I saw this and that I didn't publish it through them, and that I didn't start working on it with them, because I feel like self-publishing is just the way to go. You know, buying things in bulk if you can, selling it at your own price, doing your own pounding the pavement, trying to get it out, trying to get the word out there on your stuff, you know, whether that's plausible for everyone or not. But I always wanted to reach out to the other publishers, like, you know, Llewellyn and Los Scarabeo and, you know, Hay House, and see what their process of reviewing products was like, because I've seen other people on YouTube who say that, you know, they've been a trusted reviewer for Llewellyn for how many years, and I'm like, how do I go about doing that? You know, did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them? Do you guys have a contractual agreement? I've always been really curious about how that actually works, because I had a feeling that my relationship with Liminal11 was not so professional, and my point was kind of proven. You know, and it's years after I made that Modern Witch video, years after they sent me the Cosmic Slumber Tarot and the white Numen, and I'm just like, I'm so blown away right now by this. So I'm gonna just stop, because I'm gonna keep rambling, because I can go on forever about how, like, not cool this is, especially considering I had so many really amazing conversations with Darren about this company, about the way that their publishing works, about the things that they want, about even Darren being a tarot reader himself and holding his own readings and things like that, and me supporting him, and being like proud to know these people. It's just like a bitter taste right now. It's like a falling from glory. And it sucks because I feel like they're gonna keep squeezing the modern witch, like modern witch blankets, modern witch pillows, modern witch fucking posters. Actually, they do have modern witch posters. Wow. Like pictures, framed pictures and things like that. So to those of you indie creators who have created your own tarot deck, your own tarot book, your own oracle deck, things like that, don't let this discourage you. It's always going to be like this. It could be the best, most reputable publisher, and one day you just catch them on the wrong day. Could be you chose this one instead of that one and it happened to be the wrong choice, and no one would have told you that, but don't let this discourage you from creating your works. Don't let this keep you from your mission, from your heart, right? Especially those artists who have actually created something with Liminal11 and published it and have gone through these issues and haven't been able to speak about them publicly because of legalities and things like that. Please don't let this deter you. I implore you, please take some kind of creative hold on your products. If you still have the digital files, edit them ever so slightly. Republish them with a different publisher, with a different platform. Try to do everything you can to regain agency of this deck, because the people who want to support you will follow. The way that everybody followed Taylor Swift when she re-recorded all of her songs, right? The people who love you, the people who support you, the people who really care about the artist's best interest will follow you and will support you and will continue to push the narrative on your behalf. So I really wish all of the artists that I've worked with Liminal11 the very best. I hope that somebody does reach back to me and let me know what's going on. Not that anybody has any obligation to, right? Not that I'm anybody, but I would like to keep up with this story. I would like to keep up with this narrative because it is very close to my heart. It is very near and dear to me. So I just want to know that things are working out for these artists, because as much as it sucks to say that, yeah, the publishing house does have a big hand in it because they are creating the resources to mass produce your work, you should still be fairly compensated and communicated to with respect, corresponded with professionalism, right? And it's just really, really, really heartbreaking to see the decline of swift decline. They have maybe 10 decks out. They have a lot of books. Every time I go on their website, every once in a while I'll check it out, see if they have something that I might have missed, but I think they're still sitting at only about 10 decks or so, if that. So we'll see how this goes. If I hear anything back, maybe I'll make another update video. And to those of you guys who are going to say that I'm just bitter because I wasn't contracted to them, I wasn't getting paid for anything, and that was my fault for being naive, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I am bitter about it, and that is my fault, and I was naive, and I do take full responsibility for that. But them changing their method of communication, them being unprofessional, them not compensating artists, that has nothing to do with me, and that needs to have attention drawn to it, because these are really incredible artists that they had the absolute fortune to work with. Like, they really, really, really found some really amazing artists and really took advantage of them, and it is really messed up. So, free the artists. Let's do what we can to help get the artists their sovereignty back over their work. And I hope that this video doesn't age poorly. I hope that I don't get too much backlash for it. But it is what it is, and I know that I'm saying what I'm saying off of emotional charge at the moment. So, yeah, those of you guys who are also keeping up with this, who have also heard all of this, please, please, please update us in the comments, especially if you're finding this video in the future, right? Update us for whoever's stumbling across this video. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it here so that I stop rambling. I'm also kind of cooking in my car, and I just want to say that I really hope that wherever you are when this video reaches you, you have a beautiful, wonderful day. I hope your day gets better, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Blessed be.